Hey, how's it going? So I've received a few questions regarding my Boss ME-25 metal tone that I posted a video about like 2 years ago, or it's probably been like longer than that. And the questions have been gathering over the years. That sounds awful in retrospect. Anyways, I thought I might as well make a video about it. So what we have here is a device that came out in 2010, like before Pod HD even. I think Pod HD came like late 2010 and this came like right at Winter NAMM or something. It's a fun little device I received as a Christmas gift some years back. I haven't been using it much, but it has potential even in this day and age with like helixes and XFXs and neural DSP and whatnot. It's more of a curiosity, I suppose, but it can still provide pretty solid tones if you tinker with it. And it can do chugs and jents if you really need those. Before I go any further, I'll explain the signal chain real quick. So this is a man-in-end custom instrument which has a cable. Cable goes into the Boss. The stereo outs from the Boss go into my Helix, which functions only as an interface right now. Mind you, you can use the ME-25 as an interface as well, as a 2-channel in and out interface, which functions even on Windows 11, which is surprising. So for a 2010 device, it's pretty well supported even to this day. That aside, I'm still going to use the Helix because I already wired everything up and I don't want to change it. So to power on the device, you need to plug in your input lead. And when you put it on, there's power, there's sound, and there's clearly something happening without a cabinet emulation turned on. So if you haven't plugged this in via USB, the thing you need to do is, say you have a headphones adapter, just plug it in and then you get your cabinet simulation. The other way you can get cabinet simulation going on is to connect the device via USB. It even says audio on the chassis. That was more difficult than it should have been. When you do that and your computer recognizes the device, it automatically kicks in the cab simulation. So that's the patch I was using on that video a couple of years back, and I might as well run you through it using the editor software, which has a pretty historical user interface. It's like a time capsule, but all in all, it's pretty simple. The preamp is the rectifier, or R-Fier, with preamp driver 30, tone at 66, or actually is it? Did I accidentally change something? I didn't say it. It's 67, well that's 667, oh, sorry. That's a pure accident from a couple of years ago, but yeah, volume at 60, so you can hear it. Tone stack is at bass 63, mid about half, and treble at 65. So nothing too crazy. The tone control is actually like all of these tone controls are pretty damn strong. And you need to just use your ears when you dial these in. You have to kind of mold the tone with these depending on the amplifier model. These might change a lot depending on the preamp. Yeah, like tone control can get pretty shrill, treble control can get pretty like quacky. It's like pretty, I wouldn't say like high treble, but more like high mids treble region. Not that I'm running like a spectrum analyzer here, but that's my feeling about this. For the boost, I was using the Blues Driver. Oh, these buttons actually work like the switches on the real things. That's cool. Yeah, so for the drive, I was using the Blues Driver with your normal settings for a rectifier boost. Really pretty low drive, tone to taste and level with max. That's what you do. This is how that sounds. So the rectifier works pretty well for contemporary chugging, in low tunings even. And depending on your boost, you can kind of define the character that gets applied to the preamp model. Like with the Blues Driver, you can get more high frequency content in there with the tone control. The T-Scream definitely has more mids. Even with the tone control like cranked, it doesn't get like very high treble stuff in there in my ears. And OD1 is, I think, the most trebly out of these. Actually, no. The boost is the most trebly or quacky, I should say, I guess. Maybe a little bit too quacky, actually. But you can have a lot of range with these OD pedals. I'll have to give it that. So that was the tone in a nutshell through the editor user interface. Pretty simple stuff and pretty applicable stuff as well for at least live use. I wouldn't probably record with that, but would definitely go just fine for a live situation. So let's actually go forth and make a new tone, because I was messing around earlier before shooting this video and I found out that there was actually a couple of more preamps that I liked quite a bit. Let's do it using the onboard controls. Oh yeah, by the way, you can access everything on the device that you can access through the editor pretty much. So anything goes. Let's go to edit mode. And this is a clean patch, obviously. I'll just turn everything off for now. And we got a DI tone. Okay, so let's turn the drive on. Currently it's on, I guess, clean. Your basic clean tone. Funnily enough, I usually gravitate towards 5150s in any amp model, but I haven't been able to make this 5150 sound nice to my ears. Like the frequency content, I can't really mold it to my ears without the help of like external post EQ or something, but that's how it sounds like box standard. We'll just put everything to noon. Actually, volume can be a bit higher. And here's the shrilly character of the tone control that I was talking about. It gets really, really harsh. So you need to be careful with that. Oh, so on the device, if you want to get to your tone stack, you long press the drive button, and now you have your bass, middle, and treble. And yeah, for this part, just use your ears and don't expect this thing to behave like the real amp. So just turn the dials and see how it sounds. And these EQ controls are pretty powerful. I don't know the exact frequencies that are being affected, but there's a lot of decibels in there. For sure. Let's go back to the tone. That's probably as good as I'm gonna get it with the 5150. Put a boost on it, maybe Tooth Screamer, which would be number 3. That's a lot of mids. Actually, let's not do that. Let's do the boost, actually. See how that goes. My volume wasn't actually all the way up, so it was a bit duller than it could have been. So yeah, I can't really make the 5150 model sound how I would like it to sound in my ears. Well, yeah, and the super stack button probably doesn't do any favors on this situation, but let's try it anyways. Yeah, like it introduces some like high bass, which is pretty, it doesn't really suit this kind of a situation. Maybe like a loudspeaker kind of thing, or even just like a direct into amp situation where you don't have an IR. It probably works hooked up into an actual amplifier and cabinet. So, not the case. It's not gonna improve stuff here, unfortunately. So another preamp I liked for this modern chug stuff was the Ultra Metal number 10. By default, everything at noon it's pretty bassy. But you can make it work. Just be careful with the tone control. Not crank it too much. Go to the tone stack. It has even like too much bass, so you need to be careful with that. Mids. That sounds about right. Treble. Seems to be like a lowish treble frequency. Can't pinpoint it with my ears, but it's definitely not on the higher side of the spectrum when it comes to treble, but that sounds good to my ears. Let's put a boost in. Let's see, number 1. Okay, that quacks a bit too much. OD1. Pretty okay. 808. Okay, Ultra Metal and T-Scream. Screams. It's not like too quacky, not too MIDI either, so that seemed like a good match. What about the Blues Driver? Okay, Blues Driver is more quacky. So for this amp, ultra metal, T-scream, and you're good to go. At least, mind you, it might depend on your guitar and everything else. You really need to tweak these settings according to your instrument. It's not like the tones might not fit every type of guitar. So for the Lundgren pickups that I have on this here guitar and the Fredrik Tordendal plectrum, this seems to work quite nicely. Okay, last but not least, we have the MS Modern number 7. This is kind of cool. I would assume it's a Marshall. Let's put everything to noon once again. See how this sounds bone stock. It's not very gainy, so it needs more drive. About 75, 80 tone. Need to keep it really modest with the tone control. Not too much bass. Mids get pretty honky pretty early. I think that's as far as I'm gonna go. Okay, and the second ingredient, which would be the boost. Let's just go through everything. So first boost, the most quacky one. I don't know about that too much. T-scream. Okay, I think Blues Driver gets the ticket here with the MS Modern. Not a whole lot of string separation, but I think that's the best I can do with MS Modern. I think out of all of these, the Ultra Metal combined with the T-Scream is definitely my favorite. Different textures, different use cases. Maybe you could use all of them, but it can hold pretty nice, nice chuggy tones within itself, even from low tunings. Mind you that you might not get like a huge lot of string separation if you do a lot of chords with the high gain. But it is what it is. It's a product of its time, but on the other hand, still quite usable if you're on a pinch, for sure. So what about using external IRs? Yeah, somebody asked about that as well, and I might as well demonstrate. So for this example, I'm using the Helix as a cabinet sim, not an IR, just Helix cabs, using the Sun 4x12 with T75 speakers, using one 421 dynamic mic and 906 at 45-degree angle. So that's how the Ultra Metal sounds using that kind of a cab sim. Now compare it to the internal cabinet simulation. So the internal cab sim of the Boss for the Ultra Metal sounds way different. There's like more high frequency content in there, and probably some harsh frequencies as well. You might want to dial out with a parametric EQ, but you cannot do it inside the Boss, obviously. So if you do decide to use external cabinet simulator with the Boss, you're going to have to dial your preset according to that IR or cab sim or whatever. And the cabinet simulators won't be interchangeable. In my experience, if you dial your preset according to an external IR, the internal IR is gonna make the tone like way, way, way too harsh. It's like you can't work both. You can't work the same preset with both cab sims. But anyways, let us dial the Ultra Metal to this cab sim. Okay, so everything at noon. And here we go. Start with the tone control. Surprisingly, you can't go too high with the tone, because it really gets harsh if you do it too much. Okay, we got a lot of bass in here, so there's definitely no need to boost that. Mids, treble. Definitely need more drive, I think. Maybe a little bit more tone. It's not quite there yet. I think it's going to be a difficult thing to match external IRs with this thing. It might be a bit of a hit and miss. I'm not quite feeling the tone as of now, but yeah, maybe with an OD it's going to get better. So before I really digged the T-Scream number 3, yes. Drive at 0, tone at, I think max, maybe even volume at max. I think as a conclusion, even if you're doing external IRs, With the Boss ME-25, you still might need to do some parametric EQ afterwards. I think there is still definitely some harsh frequencies in there that wouldn't exist on like a more modern modeler if you would take amp sims from, say, the Helix in this case. Like some of the frequencies are baked into the preamp models that you can't really deal with internally. So that's my 2 cents on that. You can, if you are willing to experiment with different IRs and different preamp models and stuff as a combination, be my guest. But I think all in all, I would still probably just go with the internal sounds. Actually, if I would have to do a live show with this device and I would be in a pinch, I would definitely survive a gig and get usable tones for that. I mean, there's delay, modulation, compressor, even acoustic sim, which sounds pretty nice. And well, wah and octaver, up and down. Pretty nifty device, even in this day and age. Would I record with it? Probably not, unless I used like some special sound that you can't get anywhere else. Would definitely play it live, especially as a backup device. It's got that retro modeling aesthetic in audio format, if you think about it that way. I mean, it's got the retro digital sound, if that's what you want. It's all there. It's a bit dated, but it's all there. Yes, it does chug. I think we established that already. So yeah, that's my take on the Boss ME-25. Hopefully this video didn't turn out completely incomprehensible. But that's my 2 cents. Really cool device from the past, which is 16 years ago. I think you could say it's retro modeling tech at this point, even though the pod predates that by almost a decade, but still, I would say it's retro. I think I have the right to say that. Yep, that's it. See you in the next video.